Landlords from hell. When I was in my early 20s, living in Chicago, I wasn't making much money. When I found this apartment, it was too good to be true. The top floor of a duplex with 6 rooms for $775 a month. The agent who showed me the apartment stressed to me that the landlords were very religious. I didn't have a problem with that, even if it did sound a little ominous. The landlords were an elderly couple that lived downstairs. They seemed okay at first. When I saw them in the yard, they would smile at me. I took good care of the house. Then, when they saw I was having my boyfriend over, things started to get really weird. One day I was in my office writing. I hear a knock at the door. I open it, and it's the old lady from downstairs. Before I can say hello, she says, "Have you ever gotten an abortion?" I just shut the door in her face. No, thanks. This was a colossal mistake. The house was laid out kind of weird. There was a door at the bottom of a flight of stairs that I thought led to a communal laundry room. But after accidentally opening it once, I discovered it led directly into my landlord's living room. I unfortunately learned this the hard way. I was in my kitchen cooking. My boyfriend was at work and I was by myself when I heard what sounded like the click of a door. "Okay," I say out loud. "What the fuck was that?" I didn't really make the connection. It could have been the door that led into their living room. I walk into the hallway and look around. I don't see anyone at the end of the hallway. I poke my head into all of the rooms. Nobody there. Then I look down the staircase leading to their house, and the neighbor lady is standing there, staring me down. I screamed. She flinched and stepped back into her apartment and swung the door shut. After that, every time I left the house, and I spent every possible moment out of the house after that incident, I would come back, and something would have been moved. A window would be shut. Once, the shower was dripping and my towel was damp. I couldn't lock the door because since it was technically a door to their house, they were the only ones with the key. The knocking got so frequent, 3 or 4 times a day, that me and my boyfriend propped up an old mattress so we wouldn't have to hear it while we slept. The second to last straw was when I opened the door for work and the stairs were gone. I physically could not leave my house because there were no stairs. They had been dismantled and were sitting on their porch. I called them repeatedly, but they didn't answer. Finally, their son came out of the house and explained that they were remodeling their porch. He told me I had to cut through their apartment downstairs. I descended the stairs and opened the door, and they were both sitting at their filthy kitchen table, staring at me. The phone was in its cradle. They must have heard it ringing. They kept staring at me with this blank look on their faces. I crossed their kitchen and left out their back door. A few days later, I came home from my job and noticed the bathroom floor was almost completely flooded, like somebody left a faucet on or the shower on. The old woman, seeing that I had come home, came upstairs and knocked, screaming at me that I had flooded the bathroom and that her son had to come fix it. I was so run down at this point that I just told her it was okay. Her son comes by a few hours later. He is shit-faced. I open the door and tell him that I need an hour or so before he comes, and he picks something up and swings it at me. It was a massive wrench. I somehow duck out of the way, and he stumbles over. I book it down the newly repaired stairs as quickly as possible and call the police. They come by and take down a complaint, but claim since there was no physical contact, they can't do anything. I learned later that the old couple has a daughter on the force. In the middle of the night, Me, my boyfriend, and several of his friends packed all of our stuff into a Chevy Astro. We lived in hotels in the van for a month until we found another house. They never attempted to contact us again. Old landlords, let's not meet again.
The attendant told us his name was Reed. He was sitting in the back of the cage, almost as if he were waiting for something. His eyes settled on us. All the other dogs were barking loudly, rattling in their cages. Reed just stared. "What do you think?" Bill asked. "I don't know," I said, honestly. I had been hoping for a dog that looked like it wanted to be adopted. He seems a bit distant. "He's just scared, is all," Bill said. "I really think that's the one. Nice and quiet." I shouldn't have listened, but I let him talk me into it. Reed was in the back seat when we were driving home minutes later. When we got home, he was completely disinterested in the food we'd bought. I had never seen a dog refuse to eat and walk away from a freshly placed bowl. "That's weird," I told Bill. "He's just getting used to things," Bill said. But he wasn't. Days passed, and Reed didn't eat. I tried several different brands. None worked. He would just sit and stare at us while we watched TV. Finally, in desperation, I called the shelter. I asked if there was anyone there who might have known anything about Reed. "He's not eating," I told them. "I'm worried he's sick." "He's definitely not sick," the vet told me. "We did a pretty thorough checkup, and Reed's in fine condition. I did see some signs of abuse from the previous owner, but nothing that hasn't already healed. Unfortunately, we see that a lot. Maybe he is emotionally distressed. We see that more than we'd like, too." "What did he eat when he was there?" "He wasn't even there 3 hours before you took him home," the vet told me. "The police brought him in. We checked him, and you checked him out." "Is there any way I could talk to the previous owner?" "Ordinarily, I'd say no for privacy reasons, but in this case, it's more than that." "What do you mean?" "The previous owner is dead. That's why we have Reed. The neighbors reported it. When the police arrived, they found the body of the old owner and Reed. According to my file here, the owner had been dead for more than 2 weeks before they found him." "2 weeks?" I asked, with amazement. "What did Reed eat for a week, if you say he's in fine condition?" The doctor fell silent for a moment. "That, I don't know." But I knew. I hung up the phone and turned to see Reed in the kitchen hallway, staring. His eyes seemed less patient now, and more desperate. I'm not sure how much longer before Reed decides to eat.